everyone, Difference Maker here. Now today, we'll be doing episode 3 of Fixing Bad Teachable Perks, which is our first licensed character, Freddy Kruger, aka the Nightmare. Now, I'm sorry I haven't been posting a lot of videos lately. I have been so fucking busy with work, with my school, because I'm homeschooled because of what's going on right now. But I just wanted to clear things up before we started, but with all that out of the way, I apologize, and even though it's over already, have a happy Halloween, even though it's not Halloween anymore. Anyway, let's just get started. Alright guys, so the first perk we're going to talk about is Fire Up. And basically what this perk does, it's very simple to understand. For each generator that gets completed, you gain a 4% movement speed buff to breaking pallets, vaulting, picking survivors up, and dropping survivors. Now, the problem with this perk is that, I love the idea, honestly. It's such a great idea on paper that how you get stronger as the game goes. But the problem is, not only is it kind of situational, but it doesn't help you at all. Because, think about it. You get 4% for each gen. So that's 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. Only 20%. And by that time, all the pallets are going to be gone. And vaulting, while it's helpful, it's not as good as the other perks, like increased vaulting speed, bamboozle, increased breaking speed, brutal strength. The other two, picking up and dropping, they're nice and all, but they're not very helpful, and only 4% is too short. Oh my god, that gives you 20%. That is not enough for the end game. Not only that, so the problems with this perk is that, the percentages are too short, and the buffs they do give you are not good at all. They will not help you at the end. So, here's my changes to Fire Up, and hopefully, my changes would actually make this perk so much better. Anyway, here are my changes. Okay, so here are my changes to Fire Up. Now, be warned, this is long. So basically, what my version does now is each time survivors complete a generator, Fire Up grows in power. So now, for each generator completed, gain a stackable bonus of 5, 6, 7% buff to picking up, dropping, pallet, generator, and breakable wall breaking, vaulting speeds, missed attack cooldowns, and successful attack cooldowns for the remainder of the trial. And your movement speed is increased by 1% for each gen. So what this buff does is I added completely new things to the perk. So now you can have successful attack cooldowns and missed attack cooldowns reduced from this perk. So now you basically have Save the Best for Last and Unrelenting built into Fire Up for each gen that gets done, and I increased its values a lot to 5, 6, 7%. This would actually make the perk viable as an endgame perk. This would be very good, and I added just one more buff. This might be breaking the perk, but I made it so that your movement speeds increase by 1%, because isn't the whole point of the perk is you get stronger when you reach the end, and it would actually help out a lot of killers like Hag, Slinger, and buff all the other ones. So this is my buffs to Fire Up, and these might sound a little broken, but you have to remember it only works when you lose generators. So let's hope they actually do this change, but this is my personal change to Fire Up. Let's move on to the next perk. Alright, so the next perk is Remember Me, and what this perk does is you become obsessed with one survivor, and each time you hit your obsession with a basic attack, it will increase the opening time of exit gates by 4 seconds, up to a maximum of 8, 12, 16 seconds. Now, originally, this perk was actually pretty good. Now, it wasn't the best, but it was actually a very underrated perk, because you could basically delay and win the whole game just by hitting the obsession, because it will increase the time to open the gates. That would have bought you more time. But sadly, when the endgame collapse was introduced, they nerfed Remember Me to only 16 seconds, because originally it was 30 seconds, which was a long time. But they nerfed it, sadly, which I don't know why. Remember Me was fine on its own. But even if you reverted its nerf back, it would not be a good perk still. So I'm gonna buff Remember Me and then show you the additional changes made to the perk to make it more fair. So here is my changes to Remember Me. Alright guys, so my changes to Remember Me are this. Basically I made it so that each time you hit your obsession with any attack, it could be any attack, which is chainsaw, hatchet, you increase the opening time of the exit gates by 5 seconds, up to a maximum of 15, 20, and 25 seconds. But the obsession's not affected, and if there's one survivor left in the trial, they become the obsession. And the additional changes is that, for example, if you open the exit gate and it's at 25 seconds, if you let go, the exit gate will start to regress 5 seconds off every 2 seconds. So that's my change to Remember Me, and basically, I made it fair because if you didn't know, if you're the obsession and the killer's using Remember Me, it actually doesn't affect the obsession at all. Yeah, that's so weird. They never mention it in the perk itself. But anyway, I stated that so people wouldn't get confused, and I increased the opening time to 20 seconds, 25 seconds. Sorry, so that way it's more fair, because back then it would take a minute to open the gate, which was stupid. And not only that, if you run Remember Me and then the endgame collapse begins, it's unfair for, survivors. So I made it so that if you're the only survivor left, then you become the obsession so that, Remember Me doesn't affect you. And this perk would fix the 99 the gates problem, because people usually open the exit gates, get it to 99%, and then wait until everyone appears and then just open it in your face. This perk would counter that, so they can't just 99 and leave. They actually have to open the gate. So this buff would actually make Remember Me a lot more viable than what it was. So that's pretty much it. Let's go to the final perk, which is Blood Warden. Alright guys, so the final perk is Blood Warden, and what this perk does is, once per trial, if you hook a survivor, both exit gates will be blocked for 30, 40, and 60 seconds. Now, this perk on paper sounds amazing, because think about that. You hook someone, and you get to block both exit gates, so you can get another chance. That is incredible. But the problem is, once again, it's situational if you're going to get to the end game. And not only that, I'm not sure if you noticed this, the tiers are actually fucked up, because you know how with forced pendants, if you injure someone, they were broken for 40, 50, 60 seconds? The duration on this perk is 30, 40 to 60. They skipped the number 50 when they were doing this perk. But not only that, like, once you hook someone, they could just outrun the timer and the perk wouldn't really do anything. So the perk sounds great, but it's not good enough. It needs a couple more changes, and this could be a very good endgame perk. So here's my final changes to Blood Warden and Freddy Krueger's final perk. Alright, so my final change to Blood Warden would be is that if a survivor is opening the exit gate, their aura is revealed to you. And it's pretty much the same as the original. Basically, if they open the exit gate up and they're in the exit area, you see their auras. But I added something new. When you hook a survivor, it'll do the same effect of blocking both exit gates, but it's even longer. Now it's 40, 50, 60 seconds, but if you hook someone while Blood Warden is activated, like the timer's going, it will pause the timer. So that way, the only way to unblock the gates is to unhook the survivor. And that would be a great way to introduce teamwork, and it would actually give the killer a second chance, because it's an endgame perk. That's the whole point. But anyway, this buff would make it so much better, because a problem I've noticed is that no one mentions it. Once they open the gates, it's very situational to hook people, because no one will leave. You have to basically kill someone, open the gate, then hook them. But the problem is, it lasts 60 seconds, but people can just outrun the clock. With this change, pausing the timer would actually be good, because it gives, you another chance of actually hooking everyone. So those are all my changes to Freddy's perks, and overall, his perks aren't really that bad. The only problem is that they're all situational, because they're all endgame perks. Now, endgame perks aren't all that viable, except for Noed. Noed is strong as hell. But these perks are not as strong as Noed. But these buffs might make Freddy's perks a lot more viable. So, Freddy Krueger, I am officially going to put you in C rank. See, perks, not so bad, not so good. So, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you enjoyed. I'm sorry this was very late. Hope you enjoyed. Please leave a suggestion of what killer I should do next for fixing bad teachable perks. Press the subscribe button and press the silver bell icon for notifications of my next video. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.